I think that Ilia Topuria is going to destroy Max Holloway in their title fight at UFC 308. At 145, I think that Ilia Topuria is simply the best. I think that he's also one of the best champs in the UFC right now. Who would you put ahead of Ilia Topuria? Who's a better champ? I truly don't see anyone out there that's better than Ilia Topuria, pound for pound, in the UFC. Fuck all that John Jones bullshit. Fuck all that Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira. Fuck Islam Makhachev. Ilia Topuria is better than all of them. And I think he's going to beat Max Holloway, unfortunately. I'm a big Max Holloway fan, but Ilia is just a lot better everywhere. Um, Ilya is just such a good fighter. He's so well rounded. He's one of the toughest guys to beat in the entire UFC. Like I said, in the division, I think he's going to be a champ for a really long time if he decides to stick around. He's also the type of guy that could go up to 155 and grab that belt off of Islam Makhachev. I think he defends perfectly well against Sugar Sean. I think he destroys Sean O'Malley, to be honest. And I know that Max is coming off of a great knockout, two great knockouts against Korean Zombie and Justin Gaethje. But also, man, who hasn't knocked out the Korean Zombie? He came back from a 2-year layoff. The Justin Gaethje knockout was great. I'm not gonna sit here and talk like the Justin Gaethje knockout was not super impressive. But I think that Ilia is going to show Max Holloway levels. And I mean, Holloway has such high stock right now, but I think that's because he moved up a weight class. I don't think he can be that guy at 145. Um, he doesn't have to deal with such a bad weight cut at 155. And I think once Ilia beats Max Holloway, I think that Max Holloway should definitely move up to 155 for good. Max held a featherweight belt from 2017 to 2019. We all know that. And he hasn't lost anyone in the division since Volkanovski, but he lost 3 times. Ilia said that Max Holloway is an easier matchup for him. And I agree, bro. I think that Max Holloway struggles against really short opponents, and not really short opponents, but I think that Ilia is really going to exploit that because Max likes to get working to the body, and I don't think against Ilia he can start to work to the body. And I think that Ilia is going to put on a masterclass against Holloway. You can call me delusional, you can call me crazy, but Ilia is better everywhere. He has better boxing. He has way better grappling. People really underestimate how good Ilia's grappling is. Ilia has some of the best grappling in the UFC, and you know what? You can call me delusional. You can call me crazy. We'll see. Ilia has some of the best grappling in the UFC too. Um, he submitted Bryce. He had a really good fight against Bryce Mitchell. Took no major shots against Josh Emmett. You know how hard that is? Josh Emmett, we all make fun of him for throwing those meaty hooks. But Josh Emmett is a really powerful striker, and at the end of the day, not to take major damage from Josh Emmett's really impressive. And he was piecing up Volk, and then he got the KO. I mean, Ilia has dangerous power. If Ilia can get Max Holloway in that type of position against a cage, he's KOing Max Holloway. It took Ilia 1 time to beat Volk. And Max had 3 chances and couldn't win. But now I'm gonna go into my full fight prediction, what I think is gonna happen. And no, I'm not talking like this fight's gonna be complete domination. I think this has the chance to be one of the best featherweight fights of all time. They both have such high level boxing. I'm not discounting Max Holloway at all, but I'm just saying Ilia's level is above. When it comes to boxing and striking in general, Max has struggled against shorter opponents, like I said, and Ilia has such high level wrestling. Where if Ilia can't get the boxing going, I think he's just gonna outstrike Max on the feet. And like I said, Ilia is a great grappler, and bro, people really forget. People forget, man. Ilia Topuria was spoken up as a grappler on his up and coming, but now we're seeing his high level striking. So people are forgetting he's more of a wrestler than he is a striker. The other thing that I don't think Max Holloway will need to do that he does that's super crucial in his fight is he tries to set up combinations. And what he does is he works to the body, and he's not going to be able to work to the body against he's not going to be able to work it to the body against Ilia Topuria. He's not going to be able to get his combinations going because he's going to get walked down. For Ilia Topuria, Volk has laid out a game plan of how to beat Max Holloway. Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, and Volk are pretty much the same build, but Ilia's a Volk, but better. He has the same build as Volkanovski, a little bit taller, but I still think that's not going to be crazy hard for him. Um, and let's really look at who Max Holloway in his last 3 fights has beat in featherweight division. I am not talking about 155. I am talking about the featherweight division. I think Max Holloway's a lot better suited for 155 when he has actually time to bulk up to the division, and I think the weight cut's really draining for him. So at 145, Max Holloway knocked out the Korean Zombie in his retirement fight. I don't value that win that much. TKZ took a really long layoff, and most guys in the division would do that to him. I really felt bad for the Korean Zombie, giving them Max Holloway as his retirement fight. Then he beat Arnold Allen, which is a really good finish, but he couldn't finish Arnold Allen. He got a knockdown, but people were acting like Max Holloway is a huge finisher. He's not. And sometimes Arnold Allen doesn't have the highest fight Q. He's a good wrestler, and he didn't wrestle at all. And I think if Ilia is getting outboxed like Arnold Allen was in the fight, he'll just shoot a takedown. And before that, we saw him get outclassed by Volk. In their third fight, Volk really just did style on Max Holloway. So I think if Volk is styling on him like that, I definitely think Ilia Topuria is going to style him. So I don't really see this being a war. I don't see Ilia really getting hurt or like damaged at all in this fight. And with Max's age and the amount of damage he's taken, people act like Max Holloway hasn't been in the UFC forever. He's one of the most. He has some of the most fights in the UFC for an active fighter. And I mean, Ilia is a finisher. If Ilia gets you up against that cage with like he did against Jai Herbert, like he did against Volkanovski, he's finishing Max Holloway. Max Holloway got dropped in his last fight, and that was up at 155. So I don't know if his chin is starting to get loosened up, but I think if Ilia can start walking down Max, get Max up against the cage, and then chin Max Holloway, holy shit. We're talking about Ilia being one of the best fighters in the all time in that division if he can get a couple more title defenses, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. Now he's going to go out and knock out Max Holloway. We're talking about Ilia being one of the best 145 pounders ever. So I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria getting the KO over Max Holloway, and still